Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good evening and good morning and good afternoon to everybody and whatever time it is anywhere else. Today we have Hyper Bitcoins, aka Duck, joining us today. We're gonna give a few minutes for everybody to hop in before we go ahead and grab those guys in Discord. We also have a special appearance by guest. He will also be joined by Dime. He will also be joining us to hang out. So let's give it a few minutes. Just gonna take a peek at Bitcoin while we wait for everybody to hop in. We're gonna be going over a couple stocks that Duck has been looking at that has been catching his eye. I'm gonna be asking his opinions on what he thinks Bitcoin looks like, what he thinks stock markets looks like, and we will see what Dime thinks as well. Since we got him on, we'll bug him about a couple tickers. I'll be going over my own basic questions about what options are. Just going to do a little quick rundown of that. I will go over a couple tickers over here on my end as well. I'll be messing around TrendSpider tonight since I accidentally closed out all my trading view things that I had pulled up. So we're going to mess with this one, which I've been having a little bit of fun, at least on crypto side of things. It's really useful. Like I can give an example, at least for me. I don't know about you guys, but here's one. Yesterday, where was it? Okay. So one of the cool things about this, if I can find where exactly I traded this at. Well, pretty much it is something like this. So like these candles that are over here, apparently these are like volume aggregated candles. So whenever I see like there's a bounce off the Kijun or 20 SMA or I'm sorry, the Tenkin or the 20 SMA or the Kijun, it'll show me what was the strength of there. For example, hey, did it wick all the way down underneath there, and was there buildup coming up over here? So if, for example, if we have the any of these like raindrop candles not widening up at the bottom of down here, or on one of these areas, would basically mean. Here, let me see if I can draw it over here. That's probably the best. Okay. So let's just say this is a support line. So what I'm looking for in this case would be, hey, we had a candle dip down into here, and I'm looking for it to be more so something like this, to where, hey, these guys are all buying everything up out of over here, and this actually means basically we're having more people buy over here, so it's not, versus when I switch this to a regular candle, it doesn't show something like that. Like regular candles just shows me, hey, there's a candle on the upside, but it doesn't show me the size of the buying and things like that. So that's a little bit helpful, at least for when I'm scalping and things like that. It helped me when I was doing it the other day. Yo, what's up, Tupain? What's up, man? Take a peek at Apple non-stop monster. Hey, if it doesn't break once again, the Kijun or the 20 SMA, I mean, it hasn't a single time yet. Every time it's tried, we've pushed right back through it. So without it breaking, let's keep sending that sucker. Let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, let me see if Dime and them are ready for chat, and we'll get going. I think the space right now with Discord with crypto and everything, I think Rand is single-handedly destroying it. First he bought gold at all-time highs and it dumped, and then we have him talking about buying all coins again. So I think you guys are a little screwed if he keeps talking about it. Alright, where are these guys at? Yo, somebody got me something from Texas today. It was pretty cool. It's these weird little log looking things. It's a pecan log. I've never had it, but it's kind of interesting though. Oh, how did I do this? All right.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? Hello everybody. I have their dime and duck in just a moment. Let me make sure everybody can hear you. Wait, I guess since you guys probably have it pulled up, Is everything sounding okay so far?
Yeah, you sound real good. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Great way to start my stream. All right, we'll give Duck a minute to get in here. I can't hear you yet, Duck. No, I can hear Dime. Yeah, man, I was messing around with this raindrop candle stuff on Bitcoin since I was trading it. So like it was really cool to watch like the thing flip like on sport with like the raindrop candles. Like for example, like one of the points, the price had dropped down to the Kijun and it looked like a red candle, but on the raindrop end of things, it wasn't really a red candle because it showed as soon as it dipped down, it got bought right back up. And all the buys were on the upside. I was like, "Oh, look, it's gonna bounce." So I was like, "Long," and it worked.
I was short from
Oh yeah,
around 8,200 or so.
he said Discord never works for him. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Oh no,
Not a problem. I can fix this.
Duck,
Okay.
we have to fix that sometime.
Yeah, that definitely has to be fixed ASAP. All right, that's okay. I can invite him into there. I can keep you in Discord, and I think that'll fix everything.
I closed my short. Re. I
Whee!
still I still made money on it, but um, the bounce off the Kijun made me nervous.
Well, it doesn't help. Like I was just saying to people that like ran and everybody's talking about like buying altcoins, buying the dip. I'm like, no, just stop talking about it.
I got some Ethereum Classic, admittedly. I may end up cutting it though if Bitcoin decides to go full bull tard.
Whee!
Re.
There you go, Doc. I just sent you the Google Hangouts thing, and I'll see you in there, man, pal.
Pal, buddy, guy. I thought I was your buddy.
You're my guy, pal.
Well, while we're waiting for Duck, do you want to see the trade I'm waiting on the most this week?
Yeah,
I,
which one
I,
is it? Is it
I
NLS?
no, no, no. I got out of NLS for like 150%. I was fine with that. So I let's see if I can find the correct chart. Yep, there it is. Let me take it up to the 3 day. So this is another Michael Burry holding. I'm going to send you the chart in a second. And I'm pretty much playing this as a wick off accumulation. Let me send
Oh,
you. I said you can put it up on the screen.
Duck, click the link, sir. All right, Sportsman's Warehouse. Why has
Mhm.
somebody else mentioned this to me before too? But hey, look, Legacy White Coffee. Is that the recent candle right now? The
Yeah, that's the jump the creek section. I sent you a second image to kind of compare to where we are right now.
Let's open it up. A little small for the viewers, but I could see it.
It does, all you need to be able to see. You can right click on it and click view image.
Okay, Jump the Creek is right over there. That's
Yep.
cool. That's a perfect entrance, and like Wyckoff works a lot better in Legacy, so let's
And then
go.
the fun thing that I saw was I saw about 7,000 calls being bought on the dip on
Ooh.
Friday. So I loaded the boat with calls, and I'm now a Sportsman Warehouse whale. There is no there is no flow on it. It didn't show up on Cheddar Flow. I checked, but on not Fidelity, Thinkorswim's option order scanner, there was people loading up the boat for $10 and 7.5. So I followed suit there because I'm pretty sure these are also some Wyckoff boys doing the same thing I'm doing.
Yo, Duck. Oh shit, there he is. Can you hear him? Dime?
I can't hear them.
Oh yeah, you can't hear him. Here, I'll send you the link to. Well, you might as well join that link anyway, and I'll make sure it doesn't pop up like that to where it shows anything.
Fine, I have to log in with the correct account.
I'll just have you DM me the charts. What's going on, man? How are you? It's cool. Y- Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if on my end it looks perfectly fine, so I should be able to pull it up. I'm just gonna keep the some of it down. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we should be fine with the screen share. Yeah, we need to figure out why Discord doesn't work. It should be really easy.
I blame Duck.
Are you in, Dime?
Is it showing my name
Uh, okay,
on the
he's in here.
Hangout?
No, I have the screen like blocked to where I can't even see it now, so I can only see my own name.
Okay.
But as
Well,
long as
I'm
we
in.
can hear
Oh,
each other, that's perfect. All right, Dime. He just left. Weird. Can you hear me now? Oh, okay, I see. Oh, hold on. All right, how about now? All right, cool. Yeah, I saw him retweet me. Hey, man, thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Okay, so if you're hearing twice, then you're gonna want to leave Discord. All right, I just left that. All right, now you should be good. Dude, does everybody sound okay for the viewers, but not them? We can hear you, but not them. Oh man, not this again. It's okay, we can fix this real quick. I figured out what was going on last time. Okay. Audio input. Nope. Alright, now we just need everybody else to hear you. My jabbers. Alright, how about now? Can you guys hear them? Well, while I pull it up, I'm gonna go pull Bitcoin back up. Where do you guys think Bitcoin's going from here? Moon. Yo, let me see. Oh yeah. Asset manager longs is these for Bitcoin? Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, they're ready for one more pump. I don't think it'll go over 10,000 though. I think it'll pump. Yeah, it's still unclear if you guys can only hear me or if you guys can hear those two as well. I think it's a little different on Restream. I think I have this connected to Twitter as well, so there should be a bunch in Twitter. Just just give us a yes or no. Only well we can hear Ace takes. God damn it. All right. How do we do this? Okay. 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 All right. There we go. Now I added the whole entire screen. I don't think they'll be able to see stuff, but all right. I'm gonna open this up on my end and see if I can hear you guys. It's the stupid Google Hangouts because the Google Hangouts isn't picking up. Yeah, I can't hear you guys. I can only hear me. All right. Yeah, sorry guys. Maybe what you can do is instead of having, yeah, the Discord call is closed out completely. Okay, so if we hop back into Discord and we talk on Discord, Ducky, what you can do is you can go ahead and hit the settings button in the Hangouts, and you can turn off the double noise by turning off the speakers part. Yeah, if you turn off the speaker underneath settings, that should turn it off to where you can't hear us. But then we can go back into that channel which Duck had or Dime had created. I'm calling you guys back on that Discord channel. Yeah, you'll keep the Google Hangouts. We're just gonna change the volume part on it. Yeah, yeah, I could hear you. Yeah. Mhm. Okay.
I can't hear him.
So okay, but you're still inside of the Google Hangouts though, right?
Could be. Join.
Okay, hang on. Let's see. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Hmm.
I had to hang out, but I can't Discord.
Oh, dude, this is crazy.
We should have probably fixed this before.
I wasn't expecting it to not work again. All right, I think we should try to fix the Discord one. The Discord one should be easier. Um, if you hit the settings button underneath Discord and you hit the input device, if you reselect the input device, you should be able to see it pop up then. And you can go ahead and exit. Well, I don't want
Check
you.
your check your output volume as well. Make sure your input and output devices are correct. Change them around if you need to. Make sure you don't have. Oh, does Duck have push to talk on?
Yeah, I'm gonna send him a screenshot right now of that thing. Yeah, make sure your settings look like that, where it says voice activity, not push to talk.
That was missed.
All right,
Whoa.
now there's double, so you should be able to now go ahead and exit out the Hangouts now.
He's already out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't doubled.
All right, so now we just gotta fix his double, but we can hear you now, so that's good.
Alright, I'm sure that it's saved. Okay.
I think Duck ate the brown acid.
Def.
Can you send me a screenshot of what it looks like on that screenshot I sent you the screen on?
Yeah, it looks.
You sound like a Terminator, Duck.
Where do I exit one out? How do I get rid of that?
Okay, so now he muted himself. That's okay. So I think what's going on with you now is that I don't think you have headphones on, right?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Then now you might want to go underneath your settings on the I mean on the bottom right hand corner on the wherever like the Mac volumes are. Just make sure like the volume on that is coming through your headphones as well. Almost there though. In the meantime though, what's the look for Monday, Duck? I mean Dime.
Hey, you talking Discord? Did I do that fix anything?
I still hear double duck.
Double duck.
Uh, okay. Where again am I looking? Mm,
Yeah, send me a screenshot of that and I'll see if it's something on that end.
Change your input and output devices. Sometimes there'll be multiple inputs for your microphone, and sometimes you just have to kind of select the right one.
um, they aim both on the so
That's me. Sorry. Hang
all
on.
right, there you go.
I'll be
That's
right
what
back.
it look.
Alright, so that's what his things look like. Hang on. Okay, so he has the Yeti Nano. Okay, so your output device is I think what the problem here is.
Okay,
Uh
Your
so
output
that
device should be your headphones or whatever you're.
I have
That's why it's echoing.
output or default.
Probably default. 1 second, see if that.
All right, did that work? Did that help?
yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
there we go.
Okay,
But
awesome.
now
But
we
now
can
we
hear
hear
ourselves.
ourselves.
Shit.
So it sounds
So
like
Um,
it sounds like
our noise is
our
going
noise
into
is going into
your
your
microphone.
microphone.
yes. Okay, so what do I do there? Get the mic. Dime.
Mhm.
Okay, is that any better? Do I turn the mic down?
Okay, so the
Okay, so the
sensitivity on the mic
sensitivity on the
must
mic
be
must
to where it's
to
hearing
where
us
it's hearing
still.
us still.
Okay, why is it hearing you? Okay, I don't know why it's hearing you. Shit.
Hmm.
Mm.
Okay, hold on. Try it now. Is that
Okay.
any better?
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. All right, we're good.
Okay, we're good. That's better.
Yo, thank you everybody for being patient. All right, we're good now. Dime, are you there?
Did we get
Do
it?
I sound
Yeah.
fine to you guys? You guys sound crazy to me, but I can hear you.
Yeah, you sound perfectly fine now. No
Now
echo.
you sound great.
And he disappeared now. You're back?
Hey, you
Hmm?
back?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had to check on my dinner.
Cool. Yeah, so everything's working now. So his end, I think he sounds like he's hearing double on his end. Well, the main
Hey,
part is
can you
okay.
guys hear me?
He-
Yeah,
I lost you.
I can hear you still. Are you okay on your end?
Three of you sound fine. So fine.
Cool. Then let's get some tickers going. I love how this has a list of tickers I can just go through in the morning now. That's what I do now is just go through this list of
Are you back? Can you hear me?
yeah, we can hear you. Are you still hearing doubles?
Hey,
Yep.
Hi.
hey, I can hear you guys. Are you back?
Yeah, we're
Yep.
good.
I was gone.
All right, let's do this then. So, man, what are you looking at any kind of stock tickers? I see Dime has his. His is sportsman wares. Do you have anything for your legacy as far as that goes of things?
I mean, I've been following Amazon lately pretty good. Just basically just trying to get a feel more for the entire macro than anything. Not so much Amazon by itself. Just that it has such power as far as that core of assets that goes. That's gonna decide when the market turns or doesn't turn. With Apple, Amazon, and whatnots of the world. Um, So Amazon, I've just been trying to follow that, with SPX as well, kind of correlating together like usual.
Yeah, man, I'm looking for this because it looks like a lot of people raised their targets for Amazon over the weekend, or I mean, last week I saw some place raised it up to a $2,000 target, and it's kind of funny because we have a gap all the way up here at 1960.
Yeah, I like the 1960 gap as well. Definitely is what I'm looking at. Once that fills, which I don't see why it wouldn't, based on the way this thing's been running like a freight train. Um, so yeah, I mean, okay, you fill the gap, and then at that point, I think we could start to see where we are at that point, oscillator wise.
Yeah, I think once we get there, I think last point would be 240, and once we get that cleared, lift off to new all-time highs. And I know like Amazon's been working on a couple things, so that'll be really cool to see that play out.
Yeah, I think they should spring it right up there, no problem as well. But not in that one exactly. Just looking at it, like I said, more macro wise.
Another one I'm looking at, Dime, any thoughts on Zillow Group? Zillow Group's one I have calls in for all the way down in June. Eh,
Oh yeah, Zillow Group.
Oh, I unmuted. Oops. So I would love to see a break of that diagonal. I was charting that a few days ago. I am salty that I missed the whole run up. I
I
didn't even pay.
know.
But Ace, I still can't believe that you don't have upgraded Trading View. You should
Yeah,
really get it.
I
Um,
Um, the ad pop up. Anyway, it is looking very bullish right now, but equities have been on such a run, and I think that there is a strong possibility of a pullback next week. Not, it may not be strong, but um, I would like to see us come down just a little bit on SPY, and I think equities are going to respond accordingly to SPY. But Zillow, if it breaks that diet or not, was it Zillow? Yeah, it was Zillow.
yeah.
If Zillow breaks that diagonal line and retests it, send it, send it, send it.
I
yeah,
mean,
I had Zillow on this on TradingView as well, and we charted it, set it for an actual trade setup, and the son of a bitch, man, literally hit my stop to the T and then just mooned. So like the trade again, that's why stops just sometimes kill you because the idea was almost executed perfectly, hit the target like to a T, and it just didn't take us with it. But that happens. It's fine. But I mean, it filled that gap just like what we were just talking about on on Amazon.
I gotta go for another 3 seconds. I'll be right back. 1 second. Sorry, you caught me in the middle of cooking.
Um, but yeah, I mean, these things are filling these gaps more often than not. But typically, of course, they're going to fill the gaps, but they have gaps to both the upside and the downside. So which gap is filling next is more of the question. They're going to fill all the gaps over time. Um, it's just which is the closest one or which one has the least path of least resistance to it. A lot of these majors, man, it's crazy. Facebook, Apple's, these things all had golden retraces right in front of them. These 1618 fibs, and just all of them are blowing through it. It's you usually don't see that very often. But I almost wonder if they're just fake outs, just to almost stop hunt out those orders before those positions fill, because they're still hanging out right in the zone, just right above it. So
Yeah, man, that's what
I'm back.
SPY too, like where we've already hit the extension zone that we were gonna hit, and now we're just still looking strong at this point. And I'm like, I just don't even know what to say at this point. I'm like, well, until we retrace, I guess I'm just gonna have to keep following the trend. Like I bought some lotto puts recently because they're like been so dirt cheap. So I bought a couple, and I'll keep adding on to them. We'll see what happens.
I got a couple of the 315 SPY puts, and I have a put on Square as well. I closed my long position there.
nice, yeah. Square's another one. That one's just been an animal.
Yeah, nice flag break out of that.
Yeah, Square had that huge pattern we've been charting for a while. Basically, it's in this massive wedge, um, but it had a potential slanted inverse head and shoulders that it bounced off and retested the neckline nice. It was going towards the target and then pulled back. But the thing about the pullback is it never put in a lower low. It's still putting in higher lows, which I think that slanted inverse head and shoulders is still very valid. So is the target, and now it's again reapproaching that target. And I've seen this pattern repeat itself over and over and over on these assets, and this one's looking just like all these other ones have in this exact same situation. And just after that, target in sight and complete.
If you want to share your screen, you can on this one, and I'll just pull up the Discord thing to share.
Let's see here. Share in Discord. Share screen. Turn on share screen.
Yeah, and it'll let
Is
you
it that?
pick which screen you want to share.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been watching Dixie a lot lately too, in correlation with SPY and just my trades in general. So that's been interesting to watch because I normally don't watch that. Oh,
Let's see. It wants me to quit the Discord.
That should no, no. You do the share. What? What? He
no.
left.
Ancient
Come
duck.
back, Ducky. Come back.
You just hit the
He-
little thing on the screen.
All right. It wanted me to quit the Discord real quick
Oh, weird.
to let it work. So
Next to the button that says leave call, there's a button that says turn on screen share.
and then it's asking me the application window. Okay. Did that work?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
Yay.
All
Oh,
right.
okay, sweet. All right.
All
You
right, let
can
me
throw it on there whenever.
yeah, let me
But yeah, this is the square chart I was trying to explain without us looking at it. A little difficult.
Oh no, we have it pulled up. The gaps. Look at that big gap. Kaleo initially in the beginning of this year was wanting to hit that $90 target, but obviously we had some things go wrong with SPY to where things didn't really go out in our favor. But I still am aiming for that $90. I think that'll hit this year.
Yeah, so there's what I mean with this neckline. I haven't been back to this chart for a while, but you could extend that neckline over. And really all it did was come back and retest it even again.
Support
Um,
test is what it looks like to me.
yeah, and you can see here was that previous low. That was the right shoulder, and we never put in a lower low. And I think as long as you stay above that, you could have even came down, not much more, but you had some room there, and it stayed above it, got back above the neckline, and ran again. And now we're retesting that previous kind of swing high that it did there, but ultimately heading right for the top of this test, this downtrend here, aiming for that measured move, which is right in this nasty, huge, huge gap here. But I'm sure when you fib this guy, um, measured move is exceeding the 1618, but not 786. So common retrace areas, though. I mean, this pattern has been very, very good at playing out. Every time we've been identifying these in the Discord, this inverse head and shoulders like this, and uh, not so much in crypto, but on the traditional market, this thing's been playing out fire on this daily time frame.
Yeah, guys, those macro time frames and just like the trading setups in Legacy, they work out so much better than they do in Legacy than they do in crypto. So anything you guys have learned in crypto, you guys can apply that to regular stock market and it'll make it so much easier. Because like in crypto, sometimes you can't really rely on those rising wedges, falling wedges, inverse head and shoulders and things like that because we'll end up barding out near the end or Darth Mauling and that'll end up ruining people's plays. Not exactly on Legacy. Legacy, the worst thing that'll happen is that we'll have a flash the wrong way, but at least if you have your stop and play, but the positions always end up working out. There's no like, hey, we're gonna go dump up and down one way or the other. If it's earnings, maybe, but patterns always play out almost all the time in there. I've never seen once where it's done something funky on my end.
Definitely right there with you on that. Um, so on Bitcoin, check this out. We've been following this sucker for a while as far as just this cycle, right? We had this huge cycle here that went from the low where we were at the 3150 low all the way up to the 1400 high, and that cycle lasted 194 days. Um, Currently, when you mark that 194 days, it was around right here, and that's kind of right where it started to, kind of swing back up to the upside. It just these cycles are part of these channels, right? These fib channels, they they correct, right? We have to fill gaps up here. We have to just it's just natural. So it's time to to create a new channel.
You know
Again,
what's
doesn't
funny
always.
is we have two gaps remaining. We have one up at around like 11,000, and we have another one around 3,000.
Yeah, so just because it's time to create a new channel doesn't guarantee it's a channel to the upside. It's very high probability that it's going to be, but there's no guarantee on that. All it means is it's time to create one of these new fib channels, which is going to go in the opposite direction, either crossing to the upside or it's going to cross to the downside. But um, it's time for a new channel, and you start to look at the divergence. We went from down here having some bullish divergence to now it's turning into almost convergence on the RSI, swinging back to the upside with it. I don't see any sort of negative, bearish divergence here that's telling me that this should stop anytime soon. um, we're also approaching, the top of this major channel again, and um, I mean, look at these tests before. Typically, this is the time you break out of it, and you could even start talking about, uh, harmonic things, right? Like this, you would start to say X A B C D. I lost A. Let me fix it down here, and we target 618s. Okay, so 618, basically what that does is that breaks us out of that channel, and then you'd probably see a retest back of the top of it, which is perfectly fine and healthy. You'd start to fib this, retrace back down here to like the 618 off of that harmonic. That's back testing the top of that trend, making it even more valid, having three on the bottom and then that fourth on the top
That's
on a
funny because like your D lines up exactly to like the number I've been telling people online. My whole thing is like I really want to see like actual candle structure close over 9,091, and that'll really
Mhm.
make me like ultimately bullish like 100%. So it's really
The
funny how
thing,
it comes up there.
yeah, it's coinciding pretty nicely. The thing with this harmonic is it could have already happened like this. We can hit the 618 um in this range, right? It could look like this, or it can look like this, and we could still be at that 618. The thing that tells me it's going to look more like this is just because of this cycle up here. We're done with the cycle based on previous ones that we've had. The bars are lining up really nicely. Um, it just the signs are pointing in the directions we like to see. So at this point, um, you know, you could say the bottom's in. You could say this was a double bottom down here. It's very likely that you will never see 64 again for a while. Doesn't mean that we're going to a million here. We can see a cycle that just plays out somewhere between 10.5 and say 17. We don't even have to hit all-time highs for this to be a perfectly valid new trend. And that trend would play out for another, say 200 days, and then you'd start to create the new trend after that, which could take you 100 more days back the other way before you'd ever see 6400 again. 300 days away, in my opinion. Again, I hate talking out that far because I like to only see what's happening in front of us. um, but that's kind of the way the cycles work.
Yeah, I mean, for like as far as like the structure goes, right there on the blue line versus every other time we've attempted at the blue line, I
Mm-hmm.
have. I mean, this looks really good. We're actually seeing some consolidation form up here, so I would rather want to bet on a leg up and stop myself out tightly rather than be like, hey, I don't know, I'm gonna try to short this again because I don't see any signals yet to short, even just off like candle structure.
No, shorting right now is not something that's going to be in my book for a while. All I'm doing at this point, when I feel like the trend is now changing to the bull side, right? This could happen when we're trending bearish as well, but right now I'm saying, okay, this is a bull trend. So if I'm saying it's a bull trend, why am I going to ever short the trend? I won't. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and only take longs, take profit, and then refill longs on the dip. But I hate to get caught in a short position in a bull trend, just like you hate, vice versa, right? But anyway, so another thing telling us is we have this measured move of this potential again. What we're just looking at, these slanted inverse head and shoulders. This coincides with that harmonic.
For as far as harmonics go, for your, I remember you had done one on Yext and TXN. I'm still watching those two suckers, especially
Yeah,
Yext.
and that TXN one, that thing was a beast, man. It was a really nice trade setup. The problem with
Dime, that's another one that I think is ready for its another move up. It dumped right on Duck's harmonic, and ever since then it kept the weekly trend line up. And right now we're about to see a bullish TK happen after a fake out of a Kumo twist on the Ichi on Yext or on Texas Instruments. So I think this sucker's gonna go push 140. It's
I
looking
think
really
I I think
nice.
I think I saw some order flow on Cheddar Flow, specifically for
Ooh,
TXN.
that's good. That's what I like to hear. That one
Let
and
me
Tyson Chicken.
let me pull it up.
TXN. Yes, you did. I don't like the timing. Let me
There it
readjust.
is. Oh,
TXN.
those are either deep in the money or someone closing out, maybe.
All right, so let's see. As far as strikes go, there's only one player that I like, but yeah, like you said, they're a little funny looking ones.
One of them is 128.
Yeah, these aren't that interesting. So I was looking at the 221 ones, but they're priced at 434. I'm assuming he's probably getting out of those suckers.
Wouldn't you?
Hell yeah,
To ha-
434.
to have I'm thrilled when I get to close an option that's 250. Like
Bro, I
I still
know, like
I still haven't gotten to a point where I get to close an option at $5 yet or something like that.
yeah,
I'm
man.
I'm waiting for that, but geez.
That was me with Oxy. Like once it got over $2, I was like, oh, geez, guys, I gotta get out of this. Like, I can't stay in this one. And then like I watched like right now it's sitting up at like $4. I was like, fuck, man. I'm like, I already had banged out like 100% on that one, but I could have banged out 500%.
Oxy's going to 57, I think.
I need Exxon Mobil to move, man. Like that thing's
hey, you guys back? I
yeah.
got kicked out.
Oh man, gosh darn Discord. No, you're okay, man.
I know. I was like, what the heck?
I'm obnoxiously long on Oxy.
Yeah.
It's such a good setup. Oil markets and energy markets in general are waking up,
Oh
and
yeah,
it,
Oxy
I
legit.
I bought more $55 calls for September.
Dude, my fun ones for Oxy, dude, literally you'll make so much money off them. I was buying them for May. I forget what my strike was in May, but like those things have been pushing out so nicely and like the retraces on that are so nice to where you can just keep buying on each dip. So I have so much time on my hand with those suckers. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it wicked really nicely for the last couple days and held the daily level that here I'll pull up my chart.
Yeah, look at these
Uh,
raindrop candles. I mean, even like this most recent one, this is a perfect example what I was talking about. So we closed this daily candle over this block with the raindrop candle looking like this. But this basically means this is the wick down here, and everybody bought up right over support on this one. So if I switch this over to a regular candle, you won't see that. So you'll see some stuff like this, and you'll be like, "Yo, what the heck is this? A top or what are we doing here?" That's very confusing daily close. But the minute I switch it over to raindrop candles on this one, it's like, nah, we're right over. This thing's gonna be popping. So that's really exciting to see things like this. I'm really gonna hang into this thing sort of.
Hey, can you guys hear me again?
Yeah,
Yep.
you're back.
Okay,
What other stonks you
just
got
making
for
sure.
us?
I was I was muted for a second there again.
I put my Comcast chart into the chat
Yeah, let me
and my
take a
Oxy
look.
chart.
Yeah, I
Alright.
know Oxy's a beast. Love that one right now. The
Uh,
divergence that played out on that was really nice. Really,
I called the bottom 3 times, but I called the bottom finally.
oh man, it was nice.
So Comcast is printing a bit of an inverted head and shoulders right now, with order flow backing up a move upwards. Um, I think it's very likely that since everyone hates Comcast, that something's about to come. I don't like how it rejected from the neckline so far, but if I don't like what I see in the next 2 or 3 days, I'm gonna
Let me
probably
tell you
cut that
something
position.
very simple about Comcast. I've been
They
watching
suck.
this sucker all year long, and just off the price action, A, if it doesn't lose that MA line that you have over there, we're good. B, it's been going sideways down all year long. I've been waiting for this to break out. I think this is the year that this thing goes back over $50.
Huzzah! The call, I forget which calls they were. I think I want to say CMCSA.
While you pull
Yeah,
that up,
they're like for end of the month and March for $50.
that's
So
one thing I
there's
noticed about order flow. Have you noticed that there's a lot of things that are expiring right now around like February and March that are
yeah,
popping
because
up?
everyone is trying to play the blow off top with short term calls, because you literally just buy anything and everything pumps. So even like with Beyond Meat, they had a ton of just short term calls, and I scalped those and I made money off of them. But I'm fucking terrified to hold them for more than like 2 hours
I don't
because
even want to
it's
talk about BYND. Me and you had talked about that one initially, and we had called this freaking short. The angry guy on Twitter, Uncle whoever it is, Uncle Jerry, he called the freaking top on this, and it was so textbook. Like, look, we had this diagonal line break over here and everything, and I was just like, well, I'm like, well, this is over. I'm like, it tapped back here and rejected and never flipped back over. I'm like, I should probably short this. I would have
not
made
to mention
so much money.
well, also their puts are ridiculously expensive because their
That's
stock
what
is in
I'm
such short supply.
saying.
But also the completely bearish engulfing candle that just
Yeah.
fucked it up right next to it. That was the short signal that everyone was waiting for, and as soon as that happened,
Ugh.
boom.
I know, and
And
like
now
they were so expensive, like you could have made dirt amount of so much like money by the time it got down here. But
I
this
think
Yeah,
freaking
that was
candle.
nice
I,
entrance.
I think GameStop is going to pump this week.
Oh my god.
That's my. I know. I'm still on it.
Didn't he turn
I
into a whale for sportsman
get
now?
these are all Michael Burry plays, but
GameStop's
no,
a Burry play? I forgot about that.
yeah, he's I think he owns like 10% of their shares or something.
Jeez.
Um, but I've seen other financial institutions, not financial institutions. I'll call them hedge funds. I've seen reports of other hedge funds starting to take positions because they're like, yeah, GameStop's business model needs to change, but they know that they're cash flush and they're already halfway done with their expense reduction. And this support has been holding for like 6 months now.
Dude, that's the logic I had on like a macro time frame. I'm like, well, I'm like if somebody's gonna buy this and they have a lot of money, this is the time to place some bets on it, especially with the environment of everything just at such a cusp of turning around and the access to so much money. I feel like it would just take any sort of buyout from a big company or any sort of like big name attaching to this, it'll get it going. Like let me
I
zoom
think
back out.
I think GameStop's brand is too powerful for them to just die at this point.
Even some dude, he was we were talking about this on stream, and he here we go. He was like, most things, man, 50%. Watch out for that. So if I just play this upper gap to the bottom gap, we're already at 58%. And I mean, yeah, GME had nice action, but like on a macro time frame, it's not enough action as it would have wanted.
I can agree with that.
God, it's so
It
nasty. Invert that chart real quick.
Yeah, make me feel better. It's pumping. Look at it pump.
Look, what would you guys do here? Well,
Short it.
if I input this, I'd be a little scared. I'd be like, well, if it pumps into $5, we might have some bad news bears, but it's right on the Tenkin reverse, so at least some sort of drop puts it at about $9, 8.90 at the least. $7 if you want
Gosh.
to be like
It
generous.
it is it is literally the most shorted stock on the market right now for its class. I think the short float last I saw was like 112%,
Well,
something like that.
the thing you hate to see is in like the market, everything's just pumping. So it's like everything's hitting all-time highs, and then this thing's just getting pummeled. So you're just like, something's up there, right?
I like how we just
I
disappeared with all the news about war and Iran and everything, and now like I'm like, What about my oil stocks?"
Yeah.
Let's see let me go through my trading account, see what else I'm long on. I cut a lot of positions on
Oh
Friday because
yeah.
I cut a lot because I feel like stock market been going on too long, and I don't like holding positions over the weekend
All right,
with Trump's presidency. I'm still in run calls for February, $16 strike.
let me pull up Ron before you go to the next one. He's going to a $16 strike, which makes sense because if we zoom out, this was off a weekly bounce, so if we're playing the range of like top, bottom, this is the bottom right over here. So any kind of clear over this $15 range puts us at a really nice spot for a lot of things. Because over here would be, we're going over the 20 SMA, we're going over regular diagonal horizontal support, and that would put us at least $17. Halfway mark is 16, and these things are cheap right now.
Yeah, they're not too bad price-wise. No, Run's a good stock just from the fundamental side too. Recent partnerships, they've taken over the number one spot for residential market nationwide. So their stock overall it's healthy as a company.
I started a lotto account with a couple of my buddies, and I was like hardcore researching some lottos. So there's like two that I really really like. One I think I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna do it for 1,000%. It's my Marvel lotto. I found some really nice ones. It's 221 $35 calls. I don't know if they'll work out exactly. I might have to buy a little bit more time, but I'm looking for something for Marvel for $35. I bought those. I bought PBR ones, but I followed Cheddar Flow, Order Flow for that for
Yeah,
$18
that
calls.
that that one I followed. Oh wait, no, that was PHB. Never mind.
I saw
PHB
PBR and
got
I was
wrecked.
like, oh, I'm like, I feel dirty. Gotta go buy this. So I bought a bunch of
Um,
PBR and RRC off Cheddar Flow.
I know you got this one too. I just had my cheddar foot, or I put my chart in the chat chart.
Chat
Um,
chart.
I'm getting some buy signals and the order flow for a $6 move up,
For
along with
which one?
$5 RRC. Um, the combined order flow with the buy signals I was getting is a good signal to me. My calls are currently at literally zero profit and zero loss, but I think that if this manages to break $5, the 5 cent contracts I bought are going to be worth a decent
Hey,
penny.
you're in the same ones that we're in.
Yep.
Nice.
So I think RRC is gonna do something here. I got shares. I got not shares, but I got. Well, I have shares actually, but I have calls on TLT for 142. I got some really long term. No, these are the short term ones. Canopy growth. I think weed stocks are going to do something eventually.
Hey,
Eventually that's gotta too
before we
big of
continue, I just want to explain to people. Hey, Dime, can you give me an example of one that you banged at 100% on last week?
Square.
All right, so here we go. I just want to explain
That
to the
was
people who are watching.
160%.
Yeah, okay, perfect. That's perfect. So I want to explain to you guys what exactly these options are that we keep on talking about. This is more so for the Twitter people who don't know what in the world we're talking about. All right, I'm assuming you guys understand on Twitter world what in the world this pattern is. All right, so this is going to be a bullish breakout on this one. And now just as far as stock world move goes, this was only about 9% move. And if you're just strictly trading crypto, you're probably looking at this like, ha, 9% move. We banged that out in like an hour, and you guys took you days. Yeah, this is what they want you to think, and this is how they get you here. Dime over here just banged out 160%, and I don't even know what was your entry as far as spot price goes. I'm assuming
Uh,
within this before this
it
broke
was
out.
it was $60. It was the $75 calls from March,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and
Nice.
when it gapped up, suddenly those calls became very very appealing and interesting, and everyone wanted them. So
Right.
160. I cut them, and I actually bought one put on Square because I just think after such a legendary run for this week, I think it's just going to have just a tiny bit of pullback. But I only got one because I'm not super confident in that. There is a little gap to fill, as you're pointing out right there. Um,
But that's the
I,
gap that made
I,
you your money, though, right?
oh God, yes, it was amazing.
So,
They raised their fees, I believe, for the instant deposit, and that made everyone go super bullish on them because that means more revenue, more profit for them, and obviously it bodes well for investing in them.
all right. So
So
if you
that
guys
was
are,
the cap.
yeah, so if you guys are watching this, that was only a 5% move over here just off the gap, which resulted in him making 160% on that one. And the biggest
No,
reason, what?
it was I was 160% all the way to the top. But if I had gotten shorter term calls, that would have been easily been 400 or 500% easily.
Yeah, so you're basically what you're betting on in options trading is that you're betting that your price is going to go in a certain direction in a fast amount of time, regardless whether it's up or down. In this case, Dime was betting, hey, within this pattern, I'm expecting a breakout. Dime wasn't expecting the volatility on that end. That is something that gets decided as we open up and whatever measure moves are expected to happen.
You can't predict the news, but you can look at the flow because someone always knows something. That's why we like cheddar flow so much because someone big always finds out something and then they place their bets ahead of time.
Yeah, especially on support and resistances and breakout points. That's why I like looking at these things so much. It's like, hey, somebody's over here at this point. They're looking for something. Why? And why are they buying all these things at this point? Hey, because we're just about to pop out and gap up. So those small moves can turn out to good returns if you guys are able to handle plays where you're able to judge, hey, this is going to happen within this amount of time, and let's go for it. And if you get these things right, you make a lot of money. It's no different than using high leverage on BitMEX, but I feel like this is a way safer than doing it that way. That way, your money's gone in an instant. At least over here, if you have time and it takes a little bit to move, you still can make your money and manage your risk.
Definitely, definitely. It's a good
With
pattern. So looking at that pattern, basically looking at an identical thing about to mirror that on VLO, Valero
Ooh,
Energy.
Velo,
ooh.
Below.
Yeah, we
Velo.
have a lot of Valeros around this area.
You
Yeah,
I
could jump to my screen. I have it up real quick if you want to
yeah.
see it. Basically mirrors what you just went through, but
Yeah,
it's
look at that.
starting.
There we go.
So we had the we had the parallel channel um, that we broke out of with the divergence on both the MACD and the RSI, and we took the measured move of the kind of the opening of the mouth of that parallel channel and just mirrored it, copied it over to the breakout point to get our target. We could also then next check that and coincide that with the fib, and our target area becomes that. So like you were saying, it doesn't look like a big move. We've already started to play out. So if you're not in it yet and you were barely to get in it now, which we've just hit the 618, not a good time to enter, but I mean this started to break out right here. We were looking at it since right here. Um there's still another 3% to go. So don't fight the trend, right? So there's still some money to be made there. Again, not your best time for entry. Your time for entry was down here at the divergence.
What's that
But
target? What's the target there on the?
the target. Let me go back on that. The target on that was basically $100, and it likes round numbers, right? So we came down here and we bounced right off of $90. and we're gonna go back to 100. Um, that's kind of what I'm looking at on this guy.
Yeah, we had some flow on that one last week. If
Duck,
we
you forgot to tell me to long that one. I'm mad at you now.
Sorry, I think I threw it out there. Maybe not. There's
It's
so
fine.
damn many of them.
I know.
That's why I got to be setting my alerts on this stuff. That's why I'm using TrendSpider a little bit is just for their alert system because it's like really nice. So I want to
Mm-hmm.
go through and draw these patterns and I want to like alert people like, "Hey, we're getting ready, guys."
Yep, almost time. Um, SPX. Yeah, this thing. Okay, so just so disgusting, but
So what would you do?
um,
What would you do? See, like that's the thing. Like your red channel that you have drawn right above it, that's resistance. I've had a couple of those drawn this year, and at every point where I'm like, well, we've broken out so many times, this must be the resistance channel,
yeah,
and it just makes another one.
it's almost like one, two, three. So you could be like one, two, three, almost 4x divergence if you're following those points from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, here to here. And it's starting to get where, okay, at first, the RSI was not playing ball. The RSI was still showing convergence, but now we have tail end coinciding RSI bear div to go with the easy 3 to 4x bear div on the MACD. I mean, this is this is going to cool down soon. Naturally, you would think it would at least just get back inside of this channel, come and retest the bottom of it, um, which will reset all the oscillators. It'll reset everything. And if it wants to go again, then fine. But I mean, something's gotta break here for a second. Um, and that's kind of what I'm looking at. That's why I'm looking at all these big assets that are exceeding the 1618s, and these are our pattern completion zone targets on a lot of our harmonics. And again, people are like, oh well, it exceeded the 1618 because that was at 120 and it's at 122 or whatever. And it's like, hey man, a pattern completion zone is not a price; it's a zone. It's
Yeah.
not the PRP, it's not the pattern completion price, it's the pattern completion zone. We're still right by that zone. $2 away, $3 away, whatever. You're still right there. These things come out, it's basically due to algorithms, right? It starts to once you just think of mechs, right? When these things hit your targets, a lot of times they go through it. It's just because there's so much steam on the bots liquidating and just jumping on each other once that price starts moving like that. But give it a second to breathe. It'll come right back where it should have been. And those are just wicks out in space at the end of the day. It just becomes some noise. But we're in the zone on a lot of these majors to reverse.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the way I look at it is basically if somebody has that set up to where they're like, "Hey, we have tons of money on this. We're going to go ahead and exit around this zone." When they turn off things, I don't believe they're going to basically flip the switch to go to the sell side and be like, "All right, we're going to do this immediate dump right away." I think it's more so they scale out or they give it a little bit of time and let the retail orders fly in and do their work.
so this Facebook one, I mean, gosh,
So,
this is another one where the 1618, I got this Sting magnet on. The 1618, um, excuse me, this was a different harmonic. This exceeded, gosh, I don't know why this reset. I feel like I had this drawn way differently. But anyways, let's look at it without the harmonic there, okay? So what we'd be trying to do is these swing low to swing highs. There was a 1618. And those are those exceedings. This is a bad example, but yeah, I mean, it blew right through that target. Um, I wanted to share these ones. Okay, so this GE is another one. We got
I despise
options
that
on right
stock.
now. Yep. Another energy stock. I'm still kind of bullish on some of these energy stocks. Valero, GE. I still think there's plenty of room in them. This one's barely starting, just posted the pattern,
What's your
but
options play on that one?
I'm looking at targets out here, and I got actually dates pretty far out, 8 months out and 10 months
Wow.
out. Because this is a big pattern. This is a daily. So I'm looking for this 1618 up here at $22. We're down here at 11. So big targets, right? But it needs time to do that. But overall, I feel like the trend is going to change here. Bullish trend on this one. Another one. Oh, this is what we were talking about with that. Never going below that. Watch that. It's back down to that right shoulder, but it's never put in a lower low, right? So it's almost giving you another entry back in where I would almost, I mean, bet here that this is going to reverse. So it's like normally people are buying this breakout here, but this is going to be a nice reversal here. Potential on Chevron, again, another energy stock. Here's where we were on Amazon. Look at that engulfing candle right at the neckline. And so far, that one's playing out really nice, where we're heading right towards our gap, our target, which is a lot of things, right? Measured move of the inverse head and shoulders. It's the beginning of the gap. It's the 786. So coinciding targets. Um, this one was a nice harmonic. Uh, Chain link boys definitely like this one. Uh, I play shit coins actually in the USD pairings. A lot of people ask me why are your alts always to USD. A lot of people go nuts over that. They're like
I prefer
stack sats or die.
it.
But I'm just like, okay, that doesn't allow me the consistency that I'm typically looking for in, if I have an alt going up in BTC but down in UST or vice versa, and I have to go from BTC to the alt, back to BTC, back to US, it's just too much. So I really like just going straight from the shitcoin to the USD pairing and back. Um, I don't know why, but I feel like it's worked out. Ever since I started doing that, it's been better just from
Yeah.
my overall tracking on am I actually up or down on this thing. But anyways, this thing hit our harmonic entry and bounced like a champ. Which harmonic in this situation is a trend reversal pattern. We should see continuation here, which would be our target area of
Can you
three
pull up
dollars.
your GE chart again?
GE, sure. GE target is the 618 at $22.
Alright, I just want to make an example for the people who are watching. So if somebody was looking for options like this one, obviously excluding the part of like what your entry risk is and all that stuff, but this is a good way of finding out like what you want to play as far as options go. This is if you're going in blind with no order flow or anything. This is a good website I use, which is big charts dot marketwatch.com. What you would do is basically type in the stock ticker over here. It'll come up with this. You'll hit options chain. So that's where you start doing the magic. So in this sense, Duck over here is bullish, and he's aiming for that 0.618, which is around the $22 range. And he said about 6 to 8 months out. So obviously handle your own risk and time, whatever you're used to. But let's go ahead and look for something. So we're going to be betting for calls, and we're going to be looking for any kind of strike that's over $15 all the way up to 22. So you can
Yep.
pick them according to your price, whatever is good for you. So let's look for something. We'll do September. That seems to be a decent time period. September. Okay, so these are great. So this is great in terms of lottos. Like $20 by September would be only about 4 cents. These are amazingly cheap right now. So we can even be a little bit more safer and move this a little bit higher, just for safety reasons. So we'll do it to this one because it looks like somebody's already starting to buy. Um, you know what? Okay, hang on. Yeah, we'll do these. Yeah, look at this. Somebody bought these suckers out recently, and these popped up all the way up to 25 cents. So there's definitely volume getting picked up recently on these. So these are actually not bad. So that's basically what you would do. You would just look for which ones you want to buy. You want to go ahead and bet on them. The problem with that is you also have to deal with the spread on these. There's always going to be a shitty spread as far as like what the bid size is and that. So when you're buying these things, you don't want to just pile in all your stuff on the first buy. You want to try to see if you can get better bids. Always scale in your options plays. But this is actually a really good one, Duck. For a $20 strike all the way till September, that gives you so much time. And then,
I'll give you another one. MGI MoneyGram.
let me look at your chart first.
Okay.
All right, so you are aiming for 350?
Again, 618.
Okay. So 350-ish. Okay, this is actually really good. The reason I like it is because of the falling wedge type thing, and this is early too. All right, let's see what we can find on this one.
Yeah, I just posted this one a week ago. So I could give you a little. It's played out a few bars, but
Yeah,
nothing's really changed.
hit the play
Still at
button.
entry.
Is it already played out, or you already hit the play?
No, no, no. It's still right at entry.
Oh, perfect. All right. So same thing. MGI typing in the ticker. Oh, oops, not NGI. MGI. This one will go on. We'll play it a different way. We'll play it according to my rules, which are about 2 to 3 months out. So we'll do. I'll do May for safety reasons. 350. All right. So I have a choice over here. So it doesn't really give me the middle increments. So I have a choice where I can pick $3 calls or $4 calls. Basically betting, hey, is it gonna hit the $3 or the $4 range by May? We don't want it to hit it by May in the sense like we straggle along. We want the price to explode up to there or be rarely doing consolidations and just keep popping up. So they're priced around 30 cents, 10 cents. So I think the safest bet would be honestly these right over here, the 35 cent $3 ones. Because if you look at this, these have been going down for quite some time now. And now is the time where it looks like people are starting to accumulate right underneath that range. So we're going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger on this end of things. Because this looks really nice. I love falling wedges. They're like my favorite pattern in stonks. They work out so good. All right.
No, yeah, falling wedges are nice, especially when it had that coinciding 3x MACD bullish divergence to go with it, and the tail end RSI bullish divergence, cherry on the top. I mean, you got to put them all three together. You just have one that's not strong enough, right? But when they all three coincide, that's what we're looking for. High time frame. That's just rinse and repeat.
Yeah, those divergences, man. Like that's another thing in stock world. They play out so beautifully.
And again, a lot of guys will show divergences on tons of time frames. I see them on, on the 1 minute or on the, on the 15. And sure, they'll play out sometimes, but they play out so fast because you're on such a small time frame that you're not going to get some huge, gains off of that or huge swing because it's such a low time frame. But on traditionals, you won't see me usually charting anything under the daily. If not, I'm basically the weekly daily. And as dailies are approaching targets, we go into the 4 hour and 1 hour for entries just to actually enter. But other than that, the divergences are on the daily for the most part.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do is the macro time frames. I mean, shorter I only do if I'm doing like quick swings, but
Right, right. But you got to be out quick. You
yeah,
said the word quick, so we can't expect a ton out of it, right? We get in, get out. Um, and that's fine because you're realistic with your position there. Um, but yeah, the one I was talking about is this harmonic exceeding the 1618 completion zone, the piece pattern completion zone on Nvidia. That sucker did it perfectly. That was the example I was thinking of. It wasn't Facebook. Um, I knew when I saw that Facebook harmonic, something didn't look right, it's because that was the wrong chart. Nvidia.
Yeah, this sucker's
is
been
where
running
it's
up
at.
too. Like I'm waiting for this to dump.
Mm-hmm. We saw basically, I mean, you see these this area, it just there was a gap, it filled the gap. I had these areas that, the one there was a 1272, 1414, and then the 1618. That's what those lines are. Those white lines, and it should have reversed there, and it didn't. And it blew through it, and I was just like, "Geez, man, this is just Trump is just blowing tops now. This isn't even healthy anymore." So that being said, don't expect this to go on forever. And you know what? Last year, like 3 weeks into January, is when we started dumping. The first couple weeks stayed bullish.
Oh, dude,
Um,
like I mean, maybe if it doesn't dump now, like, but I can almost like on my own scale, like I can 100% guarantee this will not last in May. When May comes around, or even like even like a month before May, this sucker will be going down,
it
100%.
will be. So as long as you act accordingly and don't expect it to happen overnight, and just give yourself time for these options um, to do what they got to do, you should be fine. Just be smart about it. But I mean, look at these. Look how beautiful these patterns play out on this. We had that huge rising wedge, just dumped right out of it. Um, gap down, put in the slanted inverse head and shoulders, hit the measured move. That put in the X on the harmonic. Come down, fill some smaller gaps, create your harmonic, which is ultimately your double bottoms or your double tops, your W's and your M's, right? So put in the harmonic, that double bottom, and go. And then you ran up, you hit the golden mean ratio 1618. Perfect. So that is an area where
Where does the
people,
fib lie on that one right now?
as far as where have we exceeded it to, we are. Hold on, let me throw on this magnet here. Um,
And then what's the very top? Or I guess that leads at about 270. Okay. And then off the.
okay, so let me show you. I did two fibs, sorry. Let me do one at a time so I can tell you what I was doing there. So from our swing, from the beginning of the harmonic, the X, to the swing low A, that gives you this 1618, okay? So when we put that one back on there, that's the sucker that we just exceeded. See, that's the one that was right in that zone I had.
Yeah, we did a support bounce off it too, which is beautiful.
Yeah, and I was just shocked that we should have been reversing there, not using it as support. That's just stupid bullish. This thing, people in this harmonic are taking profits up there. Um,
Yeah, which is what's
and
even
they're
funnier is like just a little bit more higher. Like I don't expect like the whole entire line up there to fill, but let's just
the
say if
two
we were.
six one eight.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna fill. So I think it'll stay underneath 270, 260. But like even when I peek at order flow, I still see people over here betting 265, 250. Like those strikes are so interesting. More so the 250 strike. They're still coming through.
So I gave us the 1618 on that white line there. So now we'll fib from our swing high B to the swing low D on the second leg of the harmonic. That gives us the 2618. So see how right here in this zone we had the 1618 and the 2618?
Mhm.
That should have been hit. Um, that's how you know this is being manipulated, because to hit a 2618 and a 1618 coinciding like that, and we had the bearish divert, we had everything, and it didn't do it. I mean, I'll bet that every time. All we got to do is be right 33% of the time, anyways. It's whatever. I'm not sad about it. It just something's up, right? They were manipulating the shit out of it. It was time to correct, and they're kicking the can. Well, that just means the correction is going to be a little bit nastier than it should have been. And that's fine. I mean, we're gonna get these entries eventually up here, stop us out a few times, but we're looking at them still. It's not like we're giving up on the thing. But yeah, look at these patterns. They're just really nice. So what I want to do now is invert this sucker, and I mean, to me, this is saying, okay, we had this big trend, we came out, we're back testing it, and it's time to go again. Um, I just like getting that double perspective on things. It's time to come this way.
Yeah, no, that's good
um,
because I tend to forget to do that, so that's good that you like check that and know too.
like right when I saw Dime's what were we looking at? Sportsman's
Yeah.
forget which one. I was like, show me that
Sportsman's
in real.
Warehouse.
Yeah, I just like to get that perspective. Every time I go to look at a chart, I just do that real quick, just so I can see it the other way real quick, have it in my head, and then go. Seems to help.
Hey, do you guys
But yeah,
got
this
any
thing.
tickers in chat that you guys want to know or want
By
us
the
to check
by
out?
the way, Ace, FTX's Bitcoin options just went live.
Oh, dude. So
Oh,
I
so
don't
many
care. I don't
people.
care. I'm not an influencer yet, so I'm just gonna say that apparently the word on the street is right now Durbit isn't the best place to do them thingers.
Well,
So
yeah, they just locked down KYC on Deribit
yep,
for large accounts. So even if you make a ton in order to withdraw, you have to
yep.
eventually KYC.
Just got fucked with that.
Bad
So
girls want weed. Hit us with tickers.
I
We're
was
ticker junkies.
I was just about to 'cause I was about to go buy more and stuff, and then I was like trying to withdraw some of my money 'cause one of my buddies were having big issues with it, and I was like, well, there goes that one. I can't exit any of my Bitcoins options right now, so I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm doing here. So I'm moving everything to FTX. But what's cool about that is, dude. So you know how we trade options? They have move contracts now. So just play the breakouts on move contracts whenever the move contracts are ready to move and then play them accordingly to the Bitcoin options. It's like they're giving you the sauce on the platform at the same time because the move contracts are based off volatility. It's like the VIX of Bitcoin. So
Yep.
I was like, wow. I'm like, you
I
guys
I
couldn't make it
tried
any
playing them.
easier.
I tried playing them a little bit on BitMEX, the ones they had there, and I hated them because they're such short time frames and they're so illiquid that it's just useless to play them, quite frankly.
Duck, somebody's asking, can you check Roku and see if it's gonna bounce off a fib level and if he's able to sell his children on that level?
Oh,
For sure,
you
I'll
are
check that out. Real quick, look
Duck.
at this big gold chart that we're almost to our target, man, which this pattern was so huge and so massive, which is like pattern on CGC right now. That weed chart Dime's talking about, the pattern on it is massive. And when these things play out, look at the pump on this thing, just animal. But yeah, what did he say, Roku?
Yeah.
I think you have a bearish harmonic on Roku. Well, it's a bullish harmonic, but it implies downside.
Bad Girls is scared right now. He's like, "Oh no, I sold my children." I see a falling wedge right off the peak.
Don't
Yeah, so do I, man. That's the first thing I see is exactly what we're just looking at
Or even like a
um
flag type thing if I have to.
on Valero, like a channel or a wedge, right? Let's see how the channel looks on it.
I
That looks
charted
fine
this
Um,
a
too.
few
Yeah.
days ago, and I really did not enjoy the descending triangle with four lower highs. Duck, if I recall, you had a harmonic that had this going way down.
yeah, on Roku, TradingView kills me sometimes on these
Time to
not
check this.
saving shit.
Time to...
Um,
Dude, I know. That's why I wanted to. That's why I switched to TrendSpider a little bit right now. Is because it doesn't save stuff if I move around too much.
gosh dang magnet. Um, that support it's hitting there is almost oh
That's the triangle I had drawn. I mean, you could call that a descending triangle. You could call that a couple different things. There have been call
typically.
there have been call buyers coming in on this level. So there are some people who are anticipating a bounce here.
Well, the
Um,
divergence looks good with it. We're putting in lower levels of negative momentum each time
mhm.
we test it. Usually, it's not good to test like this, and we would typically break out this way. But the divergence is in our favor here.
Yeah, that's an
Um,
exaggerated divergence, correct? Equal
uh,
lows, higher lows.
Yeah, because this is keeps putting in the same price here. So yeah, this is not Class A divergence. This is a form of Class B.
I
But it could still play out to the upside.
Now on my end of things, if I switch it to my daily thing, like pretty much the same thing, but I am a little concerned over here if we're gonna end up holding this channel or not. And then worst case scenario, if you break 117, then I would be looking for the next order block, which would be at 103. But yeah, this wouldn't be a bad price to buy bounces, at least short-term ones. I know Roku calls short-term. If you can catch those bounces, those things pump like hundreds of percents just short-term. So
Oh
maybe
yeah,
maybe
absolutely,
this will be a good Monday
absolutely.
play.
Even the Beyond Meat calls and the Tesla calls that I got that were so ridiculously expensive, like a 20-cent move pumped them 100%, and I was just like, what is this?
You'll have to
Why?
try something for me on Monday with like these contracts, 'cause my broker doesn't really let me do that. Like I know Robinhood definitely doesn't. Like on some of the brokers, you can buy the same day expiration contracts, and they still pump on some of the brokers.
Yep.
So
Thinkorswim lets you. I mean, it's scary. It's so scary,
yeah,
but
but I saw them
if
move a couple times. I'm like, wow. I'm like, on Robinhood, they basically screw you because they don't let you trade it, so you're not gonna have
well,
any volatility. But everywhere else
consider
lets you.
consider Robinhood's target audience and think about that for a second.
Mhm. I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to move like money over from my Robinhood over to my TD Ameritrade and Thinkorswim and just start doing lottos over there because it just makes more sense that it'll if you can do something crazy like that at least. I don't even know who's buying them and selling them at that point. Pep's one I'm watching at
um,
this point. What do you guys think about Pep?
is that Pepsi?
Sorry, Pep Boys. My bad. Where to go?
Uh,
You're
this
on it. I'm looking at that harmonic you're drawing on the other
It
screen
is.
deck, and that's the one I remember you having, which paints a pretty bearish picture if it pans out.
yeah.
But
Oh,
it,
So
Roku. Shit.
but but
sorry about
the,
that.
the thing is, everyone is so irrationally bullish on Roku that I could totally see this playing out. But that would be a heck of a long at $60.
It would be, and that's why now that we put this back in there,
That makes more sense to me because we've had that disgusting run up in September with Roku. It's just like this is not enough come down for that disgusting run up we had.
you also okay. So, yeah, things have started to coincide. Okay, so watch. Let's clean this up a little, and let's invert this bitch.
Somebody said dragon. Giovanni, sir.
Dragon coin,
Dragon chain.
dragon, whatever, dragon connect. All right, stay with me.
Damn, Dragon is moving. Holy shit.
Really?
It's up 3% today, but it's up let's see. It's up 80% from the lows.
What?
Yep.
Oh no, look at this.
Oh no, Duck's got a measured move for us.
That's coinciding with that PCZ area. Uh,
Wrecked.
yeah, I mean, this
Get
could
Look,
even you could be back this up a little, back this up a little. Let's go conservative. And
oh, what do Roku call puts cost
yep,
for $60?
that's that's not pretty.
Oh wow, Roku $60 puts for April are dirt cheap.
How much is dirt cheap?
And that's the
Uh,
786.
like 60 cents a contract relative to the rest of their contracts. That's very, very cheap.
Yep, 58.35. That's not gonna be nice if that happens. Ouch. Yeah, that's the harmonic dime for sure. We were looking
Yeah,
at.
you showed it to me first.
Yo,
Okay.
A while.
that dragon chain is actually worth looking at, so I'm gonna pull that up for you, Giovanni. On the weekly aspect, man, dude, this hit like right on target. It would have.
Oh my god.
So it's getting over the 20 SMA. So this could be a start for Dragon. It just depends on the retrace point at now.
Can I see the weekly maybe?
But
If
is it worth logging into Bittrex?
uh,
No.
well, you're in USA, so you should have the USA, right? You
Yeah,
don't.
they're based in Seattle. I have a Bittrex account. Remember when we could sell our
God.
Bittrex account for half a Bitcoin?
Oh,
That was the
dude, good
good time.
days.
Should have done that.
Should have sold all my crypto at that point. All right, so
Whee!
this is what I would want to look at for Dragon Chain right now. You have three zones that I'd want to be interested in, like these. If it doesn't break this lowest one and it holds up nicely and does some consolidation in here, that'll be a great move for a breakout on this point. So you basically want Dragon Change to go sideways here for a couple more days, if not like a couple more weeks, because you really, really don't want this weekly to be a rejection and fall down underneath this point, because then what you're facing then is you're facing a candle which, if you look at this as 100%, it's already retraced a good chunk of it, like almost 50% at that point down there. You don't want a full retrace 50% rejection, because that just means that the next couple are going to have more harder work to do. So keep it up above over here, and I think it'll do good again. Good thing to watch, though.
I mean, it's a good thing to watch to an extent, okay? So the problem I have with charts like that, I looked at it and I was just disgusted by it. So the first thing I say to myself is, with all these assets out there and all these potential beautiful setups with 3x div and coinciding RSI div and harmonic, we're hitting completion zones. We have actual patterns. We have all these things, and yet somebody wants to put their money into that. I just don't understand it. But let's carry on.
No, 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 dude. I'm actually gonna play more off on that point. You see what he's saying? Like, he's completely disgusted by this. So right off the bat, like my take is like Duck's like, dude, that's stupid risk management. It doesn't meet up with any of my play styles. It has nothing on here that shows anything. You're basically gambling your money away, which. It's completely right. My aspect is almost the same. I'm just like, well, we have a pop off the bottom, so if you're trying to maybe possibly call bottom and layer in for hopium, this would be the point to layer in, but it doesn't show anything good. Like it's all over here, looks like it's overbought, looks like it's for a retrace. That's why I'm giving you these lower targets. But yeah, I mean, I would have to honestly lean with Duck over here. Nothing about it. Just one little pop off the bottom really doesn't mean too much. We'll have to see how it does and if they're still alive and making videos in the forest.
Oh yeah, no, they're gonna be dead.
But yeah, man, that was actually a good comment.
Yeah, I was just trying to, I don't know, it just that's my natural instinct reaction to that. So figured I would say it. Which one were we just looking at? Roku. All right. Check this shit out.
Oh, let me pull up your screen. Oh yeah,
What I
CGC,
just
dude. There's like so many people right now that are like long on CGC that I have no choice but to be in calls. Like I have you, Cold Shills, I have a other bunch of stock traders in here that are bullish on this. There's so many things on my end. I'll pull it up after you're done yours. Like
What do
dang.
you see?
Hold on, let me flip to mine.
I've
Yep.
got $30 June calls on this thing, and I've got some shorter term ones for the January 15th weed legislation pump. I think it's going to happen.
Alright, so right off the bat for me, the biggest thing is that A, we had this beautiful monthly candle flip, and not only that, we had a second one, which the second one sold me. I was like, alright, well that's on a macro time frame. On a monthly, that's beautiful. Now on the weekly, we're holding over the Kijin, or I mean the Tenkin. As long as we can hold over that and push over the weekly 20 SMA, this would be beautiful. But as far as holding up the support for this zone right over here at 1850-ish, like we're doing such a good job. And then when we zoom in just a little bit more on the daily is what looks really good. We had this big leakage all summer long, and then we finally had a cloud break into the clouds, and now we're having the future clouds open up beautifully, and we have the 20 SMA cutting up. I mean, on the ET aspect, this looks really, really nice. So for me, that's how that works. This looks good. All
This
right.
pattern looks a lot like the Roku one.
Yeah, look at that. Ugh.
And it already, you could see how it played out on CGC and went right to the PCZ on the big harmonic and then accumulated, and now we're ready to go up again.
You should
And
post both of
Roku,
those charts side by side.
Yeah, you should definitely do that. That'll be great. Saturday post.
yeah, that's nasty.
Smart in
Nasty.
CGC.
Oh man, I might have to get those Roku puts. The the $60 ones for a year out.
Yeah, seven
Dude,
eight six
I
retrace.
think that's how I'm gonna have to start playing is buying those year out plays like ahead of time, like at these
I have
big
I
points.
have so many year out plays. It's not even funny. I'm really coming around to the idea of using options as an investing vehicle
Yeah.
because you can expose yourself to these companies that you think are going to do really well or really poorly. You miss out on dividends, but not all stocks have dividends. Um, like the one that Duck is mad at. Both of you are mad at me for not pushing them into SPCE.
Oh
uh,
man, I know
SP,
SpaceX.
SP, that's not SpaceX. That's Virgin Galactic.
Yeah, oops.
SpaceX doesn't have their private company out yet, but I put the SPCE chart in the chat. There's
Disgusting.
not there's not a lot of price history yet to like really draw this out. You have too many lines on your goddamn chart.
Dude,
Um,
they're all important levels.
um, in any event, they've just hit new all-time highs, and every fucking time this stock dumped, I saw people buying calls for 2-3 years out. They've got over $80 million in deposits, and there's a metric fuck ton of people that literally just want to go to space.
It's
So I
such a
think
weird chart. Look at that beginning of its time, and then just the volatility out of
Dude,
nowhere.
this is like a crypto asset right here. Like this is the listing dump and then this is the bottom and now they're buying it in for God knows whatever they're going to release soon as far as fundamental news goes. And look, it's right around the February time, so
I have $10 and $20 strikes for 2021 and 2022. They're expecting to be profitable. The company is expecting to be profitable in 2021. Um, so I think everyone saw this as a bargain and kind of a little bit of a gamble on space tourism because people want to go to space. Let's be real here. So they're over 100% in profit already, but they're so far out that if this keeps going, they're like $30 or $40. I'm hopefully going to be looking at
let's let's take a look.
significant profit.
Let's take a look at 2022. That's what I'm interested in now. Damn it, and they're so expensive right now. Oh
Well,
man.
that I can't see, but you're looking at really low strike prices.
What do you mean, $20 strike or it's too high?
I can't see your screen.
Really? Hold on.
You have the black box. Get rid of the black box because
Okay.
we're
There we
not
go.
in Google Hangouts anymore.
All right. There we go.
So Bad Girls Goodweed has a question. How long do you hold these yearlies? Hard to say. Theta scares me. So Theta is terrifying. It is the option trader's worst nightmare. It will fuck you over if you don't know what you're doing. There's a really good chart that I'm gonna see if I can get Ace to put up. But basically, your theta decay is pretty negligible, especially if your play is going in the correct direction until about the last 3 quarters of the option life. Um, so here, Ace, if you could put up this picture that I put
Yeah.
into the chat
Let
instead of
me.
tweeting. I
Sorry.
appreciate that you're replying to me, but it
Yeah,
can wait.
I just saw your message. I was like, well. Hang on. Where's your? What did you send it to me on Discord?
Discord.
Hang on.
So this is a chart of how theta decay works. It's a gross oversimplification, but essentially the thing, right click and click view image so it can come up more,
Hold on.
or zoom in, whichever.
I could probably just zoom in. Here you go, sir. Just for you.
There you go. So your theta decay is pretty negligible during the first 3 quarters of the option play, but once you start getting closer and closer to expiration, like the last, like if you were doing a year one, you would probably only want to hold that for 9 months maximum, because after that point, the decay starts to get really ridiculous. And then the other value of doing it like this, getting such low strikes on an option that's going to potentially go up, is you can always exercise the strikes. Um, So my space $10 calls, if SPCE goes to $40, I hope, um, then I can exercise my calls and get all of those options for $10, which will obviously be an amazing trade. And then Giovanni Pickle, where do you guys do all this stock trading? Ameritrade, blah blah blah. It's I use Thinkorswim. There's Robinhood. There's Tasty Trades.
Whatever broker fits your needs and whatever you think is a good level. It's just basically each of them have levels for what your level of experience is at. Robinhood is the easiest. You get screwed on a couple things, but for a starting thing, it's great. I mean, paper trading start is the best, but
Yeah, I use Robinhood as well, or TD.
the one thing I
Same.
want to.
Thinkorswim is so nice. It's really just it feels so adult. You can see so much. Like it's where Robinhood users go to graduate, in my opinion.
So to mention on that theta decay, so one thing about these options, if you're buying the long-term ones, you have to have some sort of plan in mind. When I mean plan, I mean like a buy schedule, a drawdown schedule, all that stuff. Like the drawdown schedule is the biggest thing. Like with most of my option plays that I do buy out like long term, one, I don't have all my buys layered in. I have capital set aside for it. But as far as like managing the theta decay, I know like how much drawdown these things can handle. Like if I'm in super early on them and when they start popping off, I almost never end up going back down to the entry price of them. And even if they do, I typically end up staying above 50 to 60%. It's once it pushes that 60% mark drawdown and it stays underneath that 60% where I'm like, well, this is bad. I better figure out something else to hedge or something else to recover it. So you got to find the sweet spot of which one you're trading and figure out what the drawdown that one's experiencing and if you're able to handle that drawdown or if that drawdown is going to be an opportunity for you to actually scale in and buy in and get ready for that. But that's only if you have a lot of time on your hand. Like my silver calls, like I'm in these SIL calls. I can pull up the chart for you guys. Like I have SIL over here, and I think it's $35 calls I have, but those are for June. But the way they're reacting right now, so this dump that I had, this dump hurt me by like 50, 60%. So that was okay because I was already buying at the top, so I wasn't going to layer in heavy. So it gave me an opportunity to buy more SIL over here. So I bought more SIL. But the way I'm looking at this one is that I'm 99% sure that regular silver is gonna, let me pull this up, is going to pop and go over $20 by June. I think that's a reasonable thing, don't you guys? By June, $20 silver.
Yeah, very possible.
I don't think gold's. I know Duck has his target, and I know other people are looking to short gold at this point. But on a fundamental basis, both all the metals look ridiculously bullish, except for palladium. Palladium looks like it might be ready for a pullback. Silver, I think $20 is a very conservative target at this point. There's it really depends what happens with the economy in the short term
Yeah.
or even the midterm. Interest rates are still fairly low, and metals on the whole, a lot of their macro indicators are starting to turn up in a big way, and when they start to turn up, the monster starts to move. So I'm still very long term bullish on silver. I've been holding my physical silver since Bitcoin was 200, and I just keep adding every little while or so. But it's I think we underestimate the possibility of an economic recession in the coming 2 years, and
I think it'll
metals
happen.
will shine,
I just don't think it'll happen like bigly until Trump's out of presidency. I think
or at least gets elected.
yeah, or something along those lines. I just think this year it just looks like we might have like one sort of pullback after this Fed meeting, but then after that, I think it's let's just keep pumping it until about May. A lot of those tech stocks like QCOM looks so good to me. But yeah, man, basically, just you gotta learn what the drawdown in options is and just be able to come up with a plan as far as what's going on. The longer terms give you a lot more time and leniency versus the shorter ones. But you'll figure that out as soon as you get it. You can always DM us or something. Yeah, QCOM's over here to where we're like on a daily time frame. We just broke out of this. We did get a little bit of a rejection up here, but I think if SPY gets going again, we'll just move up. Or we do puts. Do you guys see anything on your end as far as harmonics or anything for QCOM?
Check out. I'm looking at FedEx as well.
Long.
So I got a little comparison here for you. What I'm looking at.
Ooh, it's right at the edge too of a breakout.
Yeah, so this is that play we had on Texas Instruments, and this thing just gapped right out of it and just died. It never really went much beyond that, but this was the target. We had two targets. This was right in the first one, no problem. It didn't quite get to the second one, which is what I said about bearish patterns in a bull trend. They don't always play out all the way, but this definitely played out. It had some um, good divergence going with it at the same time. We had this 3x bearish divergence that pushed it right down as we were making this rising wedge. So what I'm looking at for FedEx is the same thing, right? So I'd like to see this gap down, but what we're looking for is basically something in the golden zone from the 386 to the 1618. And the way so to be honest with you, you're looking at an inverted chart on FedEx. It's a falling wedge right now. So this is going to be a bullish pattern, but this one was a rising wedge. So I was just trying to show them to you the same way at first, but this is the way it really looks here. So here's our target zone on FedEx, and then we could also take the measured move of this pattern and see how that kind of aligns with the breakout. So when we do that, there's your overlap, and there's kind of where you would want to be layering profit target levels in those boxes there. It's kind of how I do those wedges. But yeah, that's another one right there we're looking at is FedEx. Been following it for a while because this is FedEx chart is also on the weekly time scale, and the Texas Instruments charts is on the daily. So similar pattern but different time frame, which we have to be very mindful of that when we're taking options plays as far as the duration required to get to our profit target levels.
Now there are other type of option plays you guys can do once you guys get into there. I mean, I'm not really doing them personally. I don't feel comfortable doing them, but there are things like straddles, triangles, iron condors, and all that stuff. And that basically, they're basically set up to where whatever the price action is, you can do one accordingly. Like for example, let's say you do see one that's within a channel and you're trying to basically play the channel plays. So they would have sort of plays where there's spreads that you can do. That basically means that hey, you'll buy both the calls and the puts at the same time, but you'll sell each of them as they're going within the range. So you'll be making money both ways. It won't be the crazy amounts that you would make if you're doing the straight up naked ones, but it still lets you play with something that either doesn't have much volatility, something that either has a range right now. Whatever it is, there's definitely different styles of playing it. It's just as far as it seems like with Ducc, everybody else I've done, most of us like playing those breakout trades or fundamental related news, and most of that stuff ties up on support and resistance anyway. So if you can play support and resistances, find typical breakout points, you can trade options. It's just a matter of being not an idiot and not having any sort of like risk management. If you don't have that, that's where people struggle. If you got that on lock, you're good to go. And these guys aren't idiots.
So again, this chart got messed up. I'm trying to remember
Keys
exactly where I had this.
reminds me of a crypto. Send it down.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring this one down here. It's a huge. Here we go. This is where it was because it's barely breaking out. So this is definitely where I had it.
I think I remember you had a harmonic on this one.
Right there. But yeah, this key site Yep, that's where it was. Looking at a measured move again of just taking the mouth kind of this wedge. Did that not work? Taking the mouth of this wedge. All we do there is copy and paste and bring it to the breakout point, and it should be about an 886. Let's see what that is. There's your 886.
What is this
So
company?
yeah, again, what's that again?
What's this company? Keysight?
Keysight Technologies. A lot of times, to be honest, I'm very technical only. I really care very little about fundamentals. So for me, I see wedges like this. That's all I'm looking for on dailies. So what I do is, I mean, you guys know this. You can set up different watch lists, okay? And you can start on a watch list. It doesn't matter what it is or where it is, but here's basically what I'm doing. It's just on the daily, okay? Use your space bar and you can just fly through assets like this. I'm not sure how often you guys do it, but to me, after identifying patterns after patterns after patterns, I can fly through all of these assets very quickly, just spacing through them on the daily until I find something and, see where we are with it. And if we're not looking good, then we get out of there. I stopped right here because I just found a old harmonic. Let's see how it played out. Um, Again, it may look like it didn't play out, but when you go from the swing low C to the swing high D, we hit the 618, like the Jesus. So, I mean, if you don't want to take profits at the 618, I mean, you can be more ballsy or at least trail your stops or do something, right? But these patterns have these target areas. It's from the 386 to the 618. You are in the golden kind of retrace zone. And 618, very common retrace level. And then it ran, and if you didn't take your profits, you got left behind. But again, I was mainly just trying to show you guys how, look, here's another pattern, right, that I had. So it look where we were. We've back tested this old neckline and came back through it, and now we're running to our target. um it, it it's just so you don't sit there and watch a shitcoin chart, just one shitcoin chart. Like, I hate to pick on Dragon Chain, but like a Dragon Chain, right? Why just sit there and just kill yourself over that thing when it just looked like absolute trash? When look how fast I just looked at 20 assets on a significant time frame. I didn't see anything I like except on two of them. We stopped, we paused, and that's it. If you can get me to pause, I'll look a little deeper. And now if you could check off the list of what makes our trade setup a trade setup. Like, you have to have a plan, right? This isn't like, I know it's funny we call it the lottos, but we say that because we already know why. We already have a plan to strategy for that. We're just at that point we're just kind of talking shit, but that's not literally what we're doing. We're not playing the lotto out here, people. So what we want is, again, we want to start with that pattern. Okay, what's our pattern development? It may be a harmonic, but it's not always a harmonic. This is a double bottom. There's inverse head and shoulders. We've been looking at wedges. So there's many different patterns.
do you,
Then
s-
once
do
we
you,
have a pattern, we need the divergence. And on multiple time frames would be even better. Um, and on multiple oscillators, not just divergence on the MACD, but also that coinciding RSI, divergence as well. That kind of cherry on top, I always say, with the tail end RSI divergence. Usually doesn't show itself in the beginning divs on the MACD, which tells you on the MACD you need one more.
you see
Um,
anything on BAH?
BAH.
Booz Allen Hamilton. This one had a breakout. This is
Dude, the same pattern. Look at that. Look what we just left of. Look at that. Look at the patterns. See how
Send that.
quickly that we could identify that. There's your neckline, your double bottom, used it as support, and ran. Your target I could see your target without even, you know what I mean? It's just right there. Boom, take it, go up there, break all-time highs, have some.
Yeah, this is another
And
one that some
and
dude
now
guy
you
brought up
start
to
doing
me.
this, right? Coinciding coinciding patterns. Boom. X A B C D. 1 6 1 4 1 4. Where's 1 4 1 4? This could run further, but um 8 8 6 would be, there's different, I'm going through different harmonics and see which one um lines up the most, because you can have something that has similar X A B C's, but they have different D's. So as you hit one, it could be, starts as a cipher that you're aiming at. So you're like, okay, or a bat or a shark or whatever it is, you're looking for that D, which it's only by the time you've put in the first four, you've checked a lot of them off the list. Okay, so you're left with maybe two, maybe three harmonics left. Once you get to that, 7 8 6 8 8 6, you've checked all three of them still, but if you exceed it, you've now crossed another one off the list, and that allows you to then see where you would take your next. Is this going to go all the way to 1618 and become, a shark or a bat, right? So the patterns aren't always there, but it's coinciding with where this first one wants to go. And if the double bottom is exceeded, so be it. But you hit your measured move, you took your profit. Now we're looking for potential short entries, and we're like, okay, so we still have development with the harmonic. The harmonic isn't finished yet. Divergence is still playing out. We're out of our long, but we haven't yet entered a short. Just because we hit our long target doesn't mean that that's your short entry. Sometimes they can be the same, but not always.
Yeah, I'm
Sometimes you
looking
need to
for a
take your
redip.
profits and let the thing cool down, and then look to get into the next, short or long again, right?
The other one I'm waiting for that's getting ready to break out is Solly. Solly's like at the very, very end. This should finally do it before earnings and get a pop. Um,
So
Dime,
what is
check
the
this one
ticker?
out. What do you think of this one? Solly, SOLY. Me and
SL
SOLY.
Soliton.
Yeah,
What a
Monkey
what
Trades
a
is what
what
this
a
one on me.
funky weekly chart.
Yeah, on the weekly aspect is where I drew this little triangle thing, and then the daily it comes out a little bit better.
Is there flow for it? What got your attention
Um,
on this?
Monkey Charts was telling me about this one. Said he was been looking for a breakout on this one, and I've been watching it, and it's been doing nice off the bottom every time. So,
Those Bollinger Bands are super tight.
what time frame? Weekly?
I'm looking at the weekly, but they're super tight on the weekly.
Yeah, we don't get contraction like this. So, and plus we already broke out of the the EMA out
They're
of the RSI on the weekly
they're
part.
pretty they're pretty tight on the daily as well. Huh. Let me look at the flow. Oh, there's no options on this. Boo! Boo this stock. Boo.
Reggie's coming down. Reggie should gap fill on the daily.
I could definitely see Solly moving up. I don't I don't know what it is or what they do, but
Ugh,
I could definitely
FCL
see
is
them
on
moving
just
up.
like a tear constantly.
Yeah, they had earnings and their stock did not react at all.
They just had earnings though. Wait,
Yeah,
what?
and it didn't do anything.
Wait,
Oh,
it says it's on the
what
13th
it says on the
this
12th
week.
for me, but last week they said it was on the 9th or the 8th, and it okay. Well, I guess they moved it back.
I think it's
I,
gonna dump on earnings.
probably, but I have one call on it, and I'm just that it is what it is. I don't size in for earnings anymore unless I have a really really solid ideal idea
Intel
of what
looks
I'm.
for like Intel looks like it's so ready for a put. I wonder if there's a harmonic on this one because this one is so extended, and if we're looking for like some sort of pullback on SPY, this one looks like it should be getting ready to dump. If it holds up over here, I think it's ready for an all-time high. But this big line is
Jan-
going to be majorly important on the weekly.
I think I'm probably going to sit out all of earnings season because they never go well.
I know, right?
You get one good win, and then
You try to do
I
another one, and then it goes
I I,
wrong.
I did like a 500% on JPM and then lost all of it trying to play other earnings during earnings season. Like, so frustrating because you really don't know how some of these are going to do.
Yeah, it's one and done for me on earnings. I'll do like one or two. Like I did FedEx, uh, for my last one, and the only reason I did that one because I was like, I absolutely hate FedEx. I'm like their customer service is shit. I'm like over at Amazon, we absolutely hate them. So I'm gonna go amount to that's a short, and it worked out. Yeah, for my tech stocks, I mean, even most of my tech stock watch list, like it's so extended. Tesla looks really good too because Tesla has a channel that it's in a weekly channel, which if we don't break out next week on this weekly channel, I think it's ready for that retrace at least to about 390. That'll
Oh
be
no,
beautiful.
Duck found a harmonic.
Oh no, which one? Let's see. Intel. Yeah, I figured there had to be something on Intel because it was like right at the top. So maybe it'll push out just a little bit more, but it looks like those divs are in there.
Yeah, I'm looking for the 1272 for our D. It's basically a cipher, man. Look at from X to A, we basically retraced a 1618, okay? And then from A to B, you put in basically an 886. So this is harmonics, okay? Those are the kind of things you're looking for. To if it's hard for you to identify them without seeing the geometry of the pattern, do it with a naked fib, right? Say, okay, if I fib from a swing high, a discernible swing high to a discernible swing low, bink, we've had our 618. So you're like, okay, that's starting to check my harmonic box. But yet with just the first 3 points, we still don't really know yet. So we need more information. So then we take the second discernible swing low, choose the swing high, and again, look, we hit it the 786. So those are you're like, okay, that's harmony. When I'm going from major fibs and I'm doing it very harmoniously. I don't know how to explain that, right? But that's like
Sounds beautiful.
that's what you're looking for, right? To then be like, okay, now I'll get my harmonic tool out and see how this looks. Now I'm looking for, okay, what harmonics check the box of um have starting with excuse me, having the 618 and the 886. So you just start going through them, right? You're like, does this line up with a butterfly? Is this a Gartley? Is this a crab? Is this a cipher? And then you find your pattern and you check what the D completion zone would be on that pattern. And that's how you do harmonics basically. I don't know if that explains it good, but that's the way I do it. What was the other one you guys were just talking about though? Oh, Tesla.
Yeah, it's in a
Well,
weekly channel. But yeah, that's a good explanation because I know a lot of people that trade just like off fibs and everything. So for them to not toss in at least harmonics if they're solely fib traders, it just would be silly to me. It's like why wouldn't you
look
use harmonics if you're a fib trader?
look how nasty that is.
Looks
Look at that
disgusting, right?
alarm that didn't go off that
Mm-mm.
I had. That's messed up.
I'm so I'm so mad that I didn't buy Tesla. I had shares back at 240 and a little below 240, but I had it for that little run up back in July and it dumped for earnings. And I'm like, fuck, Tesla's fucking doomed.
Man,
And I
Altcoin Thorough was like telling me to buy the dip like back under sub 200. A lot of people give me good advice on the bottom and I
he
never listen.
he told me to buy the bottom on it,
Yeah,
Jesus.
I remember
and
that.
and I did, but then it bled out another like 7-8%, and I was like, oh fuck this, and then it went on to new all time highs if I recall correctly.
Oh my God.
Doug's just like, what the heck?
Look
What
at this.
heart?
Look at this
What's
retrace down here.
1618. Oh,
618 to the T. Like usually they're like close, right? But they're never exactly the 618. And 886 is up here. Golden mean ratio.
All right,
what's that?
I feel like Elon did this on purpose then.
Fuck
420.
yeah, they did.
What's the price at the D?
The price at the D
I can't
500.
see it.
is 504.46.
So fucking funny. So many calls coming through for $500.
Look at that. Oh my god.
Ah, my god.
Yeah, they're gonna
All
retrace.
right,
Like the
here we go,
government is
boys.
gonna fud them.
3x. 1, 2, 3. So we've checked 2 boxes. We have a pattern completion zone. We have divergence on one. Now we need it on the other one. By the time this gets up there, this will have diverged and we'll have tail end RSI. We're looking for it somewhere to turn, hit here, hit 504, fill our options, and get the fuck out. Oof.
So like,
It's
what
too
would be
bad.
like the measured move on the downside?
Measured move now, we get rid of that one because now we're going the other way. So we take the swing low C and we go to D. And I like to do this. I'll go with my 386 to the 618 and I'll put that there, okay? That's my common retrace zone. Let me even do it like this so it's clearer for everyone there. Okay, then I'll do it a second time from the first time that was from C to D, okay? This time it's from A to D, and I'm looking for the next common retrace zone on this one would be basically from here to here. And then I just see where the overlapping happens, right? So anything in this kind of overlapped area is going to be really high target, high potential targets. So you're talking about 380 to 325 retrace from 504. I mean, but it's done it before. Look at these dumps. Don't think it won't.
It's too bad that puts are so expensive. If I wanted to do puts on Tesla for a year out, it's $2,400 per call.
Yeah, but dude, that was the same scenario with BYND, and they went skyrocketed after that.
Yep.
So I don't know.
No,
I'm debating on if I
I'm
want to grab like just one.
I, I just on foundation on principle. I don't want to spend
Yeah.
2260 a con. Actually, that might be 20. How much would that be? I was looking at 310 buy single. Yeah, it's $2,600 for a 310 put a year out.
Mm, but it's
But I
so
mean, like
worth it,
even like
right?
this, but the summer ones aren't that bad. The summer puts looks like somebody bought them out on last week sometime around $5 for 290 strikes for June, mid June.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
I just as a principle, I just don't want to
Yeah,
buy such an expensive put. I
I
mean,
agree.
the setup is there. The setup is completely there. Tesla's one
That-
of the more expensive stocks to short, isn't it?
Yeah.
yes, and it sucks that we're shorting it at such a blow off top high because it just made the price skyrocket on the options. It's different when I feel when you're buying a call at the A versus buying a put at the D, right? Just the amount of money that has to go into it is more in your favor buying those calls on the bottom at the A or at the C.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, like that I take into account too. So like he's explaining to you guys there about the A to the D move. The other thing you have to take into mind now that you guys understand that there's options that are underlying on these. I mean, there's definitely institutions trading these. So if they're trading them the whole time from all the way to A to D, and the price is getting that high, they're definitely going to be exiting them at some point. So that's the other thing I keep in mind. I'm like, well, if those contract buyers at A and C have been buying these calls, where's the most logical place they would end up taking profit at, or where's the next like measured move area which people would end up taking profit, which in this case seems to be D.
Absolutely. And you know what? It could have already happened. They could have front run us. Look at that bearish engulfing we had
Yep.
when we did hit one. We hit 500. It was like 499 something, and then just tanked to 473. So very well, they could have already front run 618 and said, you know what, it might not even get there. I'm out now.
Oh
I
yeah.
had I had a short term call on Tesla on Friday, and it was in profit, and I closed it, and it dumped immediately after I sold it. So,
Oof,
whew,
good job.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that 1618 is no joke.
Yeah, no kidding.
Um, which is why I'm always shocked when it's exceeded. It's such a powerful area, and not everyone, but the people that are making this go up know about it. That's for sure.
Yo, thank you for joining Bad Girls Good Weed. Appreciate you. Tell Smart I said what's up and to get good at Call of Duty. I saw his stream.
What is it?
I feel
Dodge. I
robbed.
want to
There's a
see.
Toby tracker of Oh no, it tells me there's a Toby eye tracker and it doesn't show. Oh, hold on, guys.
I need to get off soon, Ace.
Yeah, I
It's been
just
two
realized
hours.
we've been streaming this forever. I got lost in time. Do you guys have any The only reason he's here is the eye track. Yeah, I gotta get that thing working. I keep forgetting I have it on here. So thank you for reminding me, Nick. Yeah, I appreciate you hopping in too. That's just two times the man. If you guys don't follow Nick Core, he's one of the only other few ET traders other than him, Whale Bear Man, and like I think like two other people on Twitter that I like really can genuinely toss these ideas around with. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody hopping on tonight. Doc, Dime, you guys really appreciate it. And if you guys want to hang on a minute afterwards, after I cut this, we'll talk a little bit more.
Oh
Missed
yeah,
another
the
one.
secret sauce.
Alright, guys,
Oh,
I'll see you guys in stream.